Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, great, man. Well, listen, thank you for jumping in on the show. This show today has been awesome for all of us. I've been around a long time, and I remember the fore and aft in my youth. I remember it being a cool place before I could drive, even. So here we
It
are.
was awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it was awesome. I stood there when I was 16 years old.
That's what I'm saying, right? There we were. We weren't even legal, and we were having a time of our lives. What's that like now to come back, have had the life and all the experience, bring it back for a good time over that place? How does that feel? How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's unreal. I mean, we're so grateful for Mike and Julie having us play there this year. It's just, it's like a dream,
When you used to first play, the Stones always get this. The famous people get this question. So I don't care what they say. I want to ask you. When you first started to play, did you ever think you'd play your entire life, that it would become a life's work? Did it feel like that in the beginning?
No. It's, I've been playing in bands since I was in high school, and I never even imagined. It's great.
When you get hooked early on, do you remember that? Do you remember what song you were either trying to play or what you wanted to play, or when you had that desire but you hadn't learned it yet, but you knew you wanted to do it? Do you remember feeling that way?
Oh yeah, but as far as what song, I couldn't even tell. Like Led Zeppelin, Jethro Tull, that kind of stuff was a big influence.
So you guys were the big on the. Those were the preeminent bands of that era, right? If you would see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Any bar you go to, when you
don't forget the Rolling Stones now.
Yeah, you got Vic Jagger here. He's our lead vocalist, and he's a big Stones fan.
Is he close enough to just pass the phone? We'll go back and forth like that?
Yeah.
There you go.
You got it. Rick, welcome to the show, man. I'm glad to have you along as well. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Well, thank you very much.
Listen, it's my pleasure. I'm the one who's really having the most fun here today talking with all you guys. What is the fore and aft suggest to you, the environment, that era? What comes to mind?
Great band, great bar. I remember seeing this band, Sticky Fingers. It was a Stones tribute band way back, late 70s, early 80s. And that's just what I wanted to do.
Did you think at the time you could pull it off? I mean, I remember when we were kids watching the Beatles, everybody was starting bands. You'd sit there going, wow, are all these guys going to make it? And some guys were like, yeah, what are you talking about? Of course we're going to make it. We have no doubt. What were you thinking back in the day?
I wasn't thinking at all. There was no thought process. Just having fun, getting together with a bunch of guys, band here, band there, playing there, playing here. That's all. Never thought ever that this would happen. I mean,
does it
58 years old, and it started when I was 17.
Well, that's what's staggering. Everybody who's been on the show today is in our age bracket and got this bug as a teenager. The world is different. Could what happened to us back then? The way we were captured, the experience, could that ever happen again, or is that just one time in the history?
That's it. It's over. It's over. It's done. It's done. We grew up in the best time ever possible. Seriously. It's over.
Is that maybe why this benefit goes over so big? Because there are a lot of people.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I remember seeing these guys when I was there. I've been going to the Affleck Kenny since I was 16 years old, so, I knew people that worked there. I knew the owner. I mean, close-knit crowd. And it was the place to be. That's all. And these guys are still playing. And I think that's pretty cool.
I love that. I mean, nothing gets me more excited than seeing people still reach for the youthful enjoyment, throw yourself into it, leave it all out there. It's a beautiful thing. Now, How does it feel when you finish a set? When you're done for the night now, is there a feeling of, my God, we've done this for so long, look at us, or does it feel pretty much the same? Is
It feels pretty much the same. It all depends on where we're playing, Some nights is good afterwards. Some nights it's not so good afterwards.
What are the good nights like? What do you
You know what I mean?
What do you get out of a good night? When it's a good night, what
A
have
good night is we played well. We had a good crowd. No fights, no trouble, no nothing. You know what I mean? Like it was back then. Back then was crazy sometimes.
And they were beautiful. The women, the faces, the outfits. I mean, it really was a spectacle back then when you look at people.
I'm a spectacle.
That's right.
I like the garb and the get up and all that.
Of course,
Definitely.
man. Spectacle is fun. Spectacle is expression, is it not?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell these guys, but I just don't think they like to express themselves. I don't know. I love them dearly,
Right. But it'd be nice if they could jazz it up a little and express them.
Yeah,
Come on out.
I offered to get everybody the same coat and whatever pair of pants I got, but nope.
The groups that day are going to be all from an era, but are going to be all very different. That was another great thing about that era. Today, I don't know, all the cars look the same. A lot of the music sounds the same. This was the individuality era, the fore and after the 70s.
Big time. Music's not the same. Music isn't music anymore. I don't know. In the cars, like you said, everything looks the same. Everything's an SUV or this or that. It's the same. It's boring.
Without a doubt. The music is not, though. When you hear it, when you're in it, the music is separate from the externals, right? That's your world. You still own.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, I don't even listen to the radio anymore. I mean, nothing. I've got the satellite radio. I plug in my channels, and that's that. I've got, I don't know, probably every Rolling Stone CD you can possibly get, bootleg and all. So, yeah.
Hey, I have to ask you, here they are last week, up on stage again. The guy has heart surgery, and he's back working hard. What do you see when you see that from a distance, from your vantage point, seeing him still tour, coming back after the surgery, kicking ass, too? They did long shows. They did that impromptu show in Miami to beat the storm. They work as hard as ever. How does that look to you?
They're the best. As far as I'm concerned, they're the greatest rock and roll band in the whole world, and they're still proving it. Longevity, you know what I mean? They never quit. They never gave up. They lose a member, boom, bounce right back. They never quit. They never gave up.
Extraordinary. They are.
You know what I mean? And he's amazing. But even more amazing than him is Keith Richards waking up every morning. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. And he said something last week. I put it right up on Facebook. I love that he said this. They interviewed him, and he said, I really feel bad for the young kids today. They're going to have a music executive come in and tell them about the album. He goes, you play it safe, you're going to put out ordinary stuff. If you go all in, you just might get something. And I said, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Bangs his head, falls out of trees, drugs his whole life, clear as a bell on the difference between what sucks and what is really good.
This is true. You ever hear that saying? The cigarette commercial that says every cigarette you have takes 7 minutes off your life?
I have.
Gives it to Keith Richards.
Right. Well, I guess...
That's funny. I don't care who you are.
He must be about 210, and they're subtracting off the 210 coming backwards. And
he's amazing.
He is amazing.
He's the heart and soul of that, man.
He is.
He is.
He's the brilliance. He's the granite. He's the granite in that band, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Look,
listen, I've enjoyed talking to you. I've enjoyed this a lot. I want to congratulate you on all your success and all your enthusiasm. I know you're going to kick ass on the 28th, as you always do. But thank you for sharing a few minutes with us today and talking about this benefit. It's going to be great.
Yeah, this is Ken again. Thanks for having us on. Just one quick thing, because she'll kick my ass if I don't say it. But just a big thank you to my daughter, who's kind of our manager. She does all our promotion and everything, Jennifer Bradshaw. So that's it.
Oh, let's give her a big plug. Jennifer, great job. These guys appreciate the hell out of you. And without Jennifer behind the scenes, it would really suck to do all that stuff, right?
Yes, I appreciate that.
You got it, man. My pleasure. All right, guys, thank you. The 28th is when you're going to see Stone Cold Band. You know, it's just going to be a great day. And I'm so glad he brought up his daughter, managing the band, doing the bookings, the double-check phone calls. Is everything set up or on the way? We're good. It's going to be. You need that, and there's something special when it's your daughter or somebody who really loves you. So that's part of music and rock and roll and what we loved about our era. See, we weren't just a bunch of automatons. You know, we were wild, we were crazy, you know, we'd sound bizarro, but that was all part of it. Deep down, we brought the heart. Deep down, we looked everybody in the eyes. There's not a performer I know, and I've been on stage enough, my own stand-up comedy and others, opportunities. I know a little bit about this. You look into the eyes of that audience. It takes a nanosecond. They look back at you. They know that you are there to do for them. And they feel as you push the notes, the songs, the emotion, the passion, it's back and forth. And it's magical. Now, the 28th is the big day. The Fore and Aft is a legendary night spot in the tri-state area in New York, Connecticut, Jersey, New York City, all the boroughs. Everybody who ever went out on a Saturday night went to one of the Fore and Afts at some point. It was impossible to avoid them. You walked in and you went, my God, this isn't just music. This music is phenomenal. The girls, the bar, the scene, the vibe. You know you weren't going to find it anyplace else. You go, you know what, we're staying here. You ever do that when you were young? You go, all right, so now we had our cocktail. Everybody's here. Where are we going? You go, what do you mean, where are we going? This place is great. Why don't we stay right here? The music is terrific. The drinks are flowing. The place is filling up. What do we have to go someplace else for? And you go, well, you know, that's the name of the place. It's the Fore and Aft. Yeah. How about, why don't we just call it the Stay Here? Let's just stay here. Yeah. I remember those days. All right, so let me get right back on my list here. I believe we're coming up to the apex interview of our guests today. My thanks so much to George Nesky of Direct Drive, Mike Policastro, the guy with the brilliant idea, should we have a reunion over a year ago for the Fore and Aft, and it was so big they're having a benefit this year. Julie Shaker, how do you not love Julie? Julie sees a post. She says, you know, I'm getting ready to retire. I need a hobby. And there's the hobby, the Fore and Aft benefit concert. She's a great gal, and we appreciate her. Jimmy Heslin, I love. Everybody who knows Jimmy Heslin loves him. Guitar player extraordinaire, guitar man extraordinaire, club owner himself in Poughkeepsie over the years, and a terrific guy. Thanks also to Steve Bellizzi back at the Act Shop for coordinating our interview with Jimmy Heslin today. I want to wish all the best to Ramon and Chris from Emily's band. They were not able to join us live today. I know they're going to do a great job there, and I want to thank them for offering to join in today. I just know how busy it is on a Friday, so thanks to both of you guys. Charles Rosenet. Charles and I always have fun on the air. Charles is an emotional, passionate guy who loves to give people a good time with the popular culture, the music, the entertainment, the venues, all of that. We had him on again today talking about this. He's just as excited as ever. It's going to be a fantastic day, so thanks to Charles for joining us. Rick Tedesco, I could have kept this guy on the air all day. He's played with the best. He has been around the upper echelon, the real, authentic musicians of rock and roll, and Rick will be performing with Billion Dollar Babies on the 28th at the big event. A really extraordinary day. The doors open at 12. This is 10 hours of fun, food, laughter. I mean, it's not going to stop. You're going to be like, oh, dude, what happened to your hair? Dude, do you still have the Corvette? What about the GTO, man? Those were some days. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to set the table for I think we have 2 more confirmed guests. So we're going to set the table, stand by for Stefan Marcello from the Good Rats, and then we will conclude this fantastic broadcast dedicated to the Fore and After reunion on... Oh, I see. Thank you. I just saw a note on that. Thank you. Yeah, 28th is the big event. What we're going to do is we're going to update you a week from today with a little bit more in advance of the event. But coming up in a few minutes, get ready to join in with the rock and roll royalty about to be on the Ed Tyll Show. We've had a lot of big rock and roll folks over the years, but stand by. Dennis Dunaway from the Alice Cooper Band is joining us. This is very, very exciting. The Ed Tyll Show on edtyll.com.
It
is the Ed Tyll Show. Very excited. We are calling Stefan Marcello of the Good Rats, the legendary band.
Hello.
Yes, Stefan, it's Ed Tyll. We are live on the Ed Tyll Show. How are you today?
Hey, Ed. How's it going?
Dude, I am having the time of my life. It's an honor to have on my radio show a member of the Good Rats. I was sneaking into bars trying to listen to you as a kid.
Well, I'm a second generation, so you weren't trying to listen to me.
Wait a second. Right, I'm talking to your dad. Right? I was listening, trying to sneak in to hear your dad. Do you know what that's like for people like us to think the band is so amazing that even though we're not allowed in, we're risking our own safety to get in there to experience a band? Do you know what that's like?
Well, I don't know as much as like your generation, went through all that, and it's always a great, like when I talk to guys at your generation, it's amazing like, the things you guys went through. No, I didn't really get to go through that, so I don't understand that whole thing, but I understand how great Peppy was.
That's it, right, exactly. You know what came after, but I'm sure it's interesting to you what led up to you even. So what year were you born?
77.
Oh my God! So you came right into the maelstrom, baby. Wow!
I was there, I was just there in a different way. I was getting in different ways through the door.
That is amazing. So talk about, what does your dad say about those days? What did he share with you firsthand about what that was like?
Well, he always shared about how different it was compared, when I was playing with him, and the difference in obviously the crowds, the enthusiasm. Everyone kind of danced to the same music. People were searching for music. He really loved it. I mean, it was his real love to go out and play for the people, and he really got a kick out of it. He didn't just do a couple albums. As you know, he did many, many albums.
Right.
He never got sick of it.
Right.
He always loved writing and loved bringing people over and bringing the car and cranking it for old friends. And So he loved it. He absolutely loved it.
Can you tell a little bit of his bio? Like, where does your dad grow up? And do you know, like, the neighborhood or maybe the first kids that he, started playing around with when it came to music? Do you know any of that story?
Well, he started out when in Baldwin. Lived in Baldwin. He went to college actually to be a doctor, and he studied biology, and he played baseball. He was real into sports. He was a really good baseball player. He ended up getting sick, and he couldn't play baseball at that time. And of course, he was going to college, but he was cutting all his classes because the Beatles came along, and he fell in love with the Beatles like everyone else.
Wow.
And that basically just changed his life completely. He started out people doing cover bands, and he would do songs like Crocodile Rock. And then they just decided one day that we're doing original songs, and that's it, and they stuck with it. Yeah.
Now you get perspective on that because that's something to say. Okay, so then they went and did originals, but everybody knows what that really means. That is a big deal in music. You're cutting away all the safety stuff. And you are going to go in front of people with stuff they haven't even heard, and you are going to try to get them to like it instantly. That is heavy lifting for a musician, no?
It is, and truthfully, they started out. They didn't jump right into it, but once they got a bunch of fans, they stuck with it. But they were doing covers too, and they would sneak in their originals, just like some bands try to do now. But
that's right. That's right.
And then eventually, it completely. Once they had the record deal, then there was no more covers and all originals. Although the later years, we did covers when I played with them, many of them, because it was a different crowd, and it was kind of, I guess, like almost the same thing. We did covers and snuck in the good rat stuff.
Sure.
Just in a different time,
Sure. So what were some of the highlights of his career that he considered highlights? Not that people reading from the outside was, oh, that looks fascinating, but what did he seem to enjoy the most?
Well, I guess pretty much just getting the record deal, and like I said, being able to play his songs out for people.
Right.
And he got a kick out of being he's known for the guy who, I don't know if you know the song Dear Sir.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
It's about not changing his songs. You'd rather clean the cages at the zoo than change his songs for you.
Yep.
I think he kind of, it was that New York band where he wouldn't listen to record companies. He tried, but a lot of things were really ridiculous what they wanted them to do.
Sure.
And they stuck with their guns, and it actually came out in some of his songs. I think he was proud of sticking with his guns and keeping his music the way he wanted it, and not changing it, just for the sake of, maybe getting an extra gig here or there. Could be a big mistake, but for him, I think he was proud, and I think a lot of people really respected him for that too. So.
I think you said it well there. That was also prevalent in that era. Guys were not so quickly bought up. Whoa.
Yeah.
Just because you sent a black car and a Lincoln over here, and I'm going a fancy. What is that supposed to mean? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And I love that. That's the authenticity that the audience comes for. That's who they're coming to see.
I think there's both sides to it. I understand why a guy would do that, and I respect him for doing it. He makes that decision, but I think Pepe. I respect him more for it because he was able to still go out and do his music and still make albums. A lot of guys would have lost their record deal and been like, maybe not done anything ever again.
Exactly.
So he just kept it going, though. Even though he wouldn't listen to them, he had his own record company that he did himself and kept distributing more albums. And yeah.
So you got the torch in your hand. Is it heavy on your shoulder that he, before you, laid down such excellence, such an incredible reputation? Or is that your rocket fuel? Hey, man, that's my DNA. Yo, I'll take more of that. Give me more of that. Yeah, what is it?
I think it's a little bit of both, but it's definitely heavy. I played with my father. I played drums for like 11 years in the band with him, and then I played the bass for like 11 years. And then now I've been doing this since you passed 6 years ago. It's definitely, it's very an emotional thing going out and doing it all the time. And it's definitely heavy going there. Going to the show is always tough, And then once you get the show done, I'm elated. I love it. The people love it. So
nothing like it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it, right?
Heavy.
Your dad had
There's nothing like it.
Nothing
like
it.
doing a live show,
Nothing. No.
or going to the studio and bringing something together. And my father and I did a lot of that too in the last few years. We were in the studio. I mean, we did about 45 songs when I was doing the drums, the bass, and the guitar. And,
beautiful.
and it was just easy for him and I to do it. I would bounce off his idea and do stuff, and it was awesome. It was an awesome thing. So.
Well, I'm grateful that you were able to share some with us today. I'm super grateful to your dad for what he did, and the way you carry it has a lot of class, a lot of meaning. I feel that, and I know the listeners do too. Looking forward to the 28th. That's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get a lot of extra love on the 28th, aren't you?
I hope so. I always love the love, that's for sure.
I know you
love
will.
the love.
Oh, I can tell. I can tell it right now. Well, listen, Stefan, thank you for your time today. We look forward to talking again. A very, very important day coming up and a lot of fun for people on the 28th. Thanks to you guys.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Ed.
You got it, man. A real pleasure. All right, stand by. The Ed Tyll Show live on edtyll.com. Coming up, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Dennis Dunaway from the Alice Cooper Band, now in the Alice Cooper Band Billion Dollar Babies, playing September 28th. This is going to be a great, great benefit for the fore and aft. Stand by.
Is gonna strip you bare. Hey, is Ed Tyll?
It is the Ed Tyll Show on edtyll.com, and joining us on the line, Dennis Dunaway of the Alice Cooper Band Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Dennis, are you with us?
I'm with you, Ed. How you doing?
Dude, it is such an honor. I have been telling all day the story. I go to the Nassau Coliseum. You guys are doing Billion Dollar Babies. I'm out of my mind. It's the first time I've driven a car to a concert, and Alice throws the baby doll, and it lands 10 feet away. I know I can't get it, but I'm, just out of my mind that it happened right near me. How often do people force these recollections on you?
Well, it's interesting because you talked about your car. Most of the time, a car is involved in their recollection. And it's interesting because I don't know about you, but most of the stories start out very detailed about the car and the route they took and their friends in the car. And then when they get to the part about the concert, it gets very vague.
It does. It becomes a plastic doll. It's a sea of humanity. It's his eyeshadow. It's your, like the body language was big for me when I was a kid when you guys were up there. You looked like the emperors of the universe. You stood, we looked at everything, dude. Every hair, every article of clothing, every nuance that you brought. We were absorbing like nonstop. It was like a maelstrom. I used that word before. So it was like an asteroid shower. Wow. So what was it that made that Hall of Fame exquisite era? What was that? You were there doing it. We were just receiving it. You were there. What was happening, Dennis?
Well, we came up with a lot of competition. I mean, there was Led Zeppelin and Hendrix and the Beatles and Stones and everybody else. So how do you stand out? We just started trying to get as much attention as we could, and we found out. And also, when Alice and I first met, he was 15 and I was 16. We were in art class, and he was the only guy in the school that had a clue who Salvador Dali was. So we decided we were going to start a band and incorporate artistic ideas into it. And then one thing led to another, and we had to keep upping raising the bar, and so it went into as the more money we made, the more we were afforded to do our ideas. So basically, you came along when we were able to do more than just grab whatever wasn't bolted down in the back room and incorporate into the show.
Indeed. Indeed. And then the musicianship. Again, I don't want to overly flatter you, but I want to bring the appropriate attention to the apex of that art form. How much did you love creating that music?
Well, we spent all of our time on the music. We would rehearse 10 hours a day. The theatrics was like that was easy. The music was what we worked very hard on, every little tiny part to get it. And then we would write a song like "Is It My Body." I remember we wrote that. We wanted a bump and grind kind of a song for Alice to bring out the snake, and then we played it and used the snake. And I was waiting for the reviews about how wonderful this song was going to be received, and all they talked about was the snake. So basically, we wrote "Halo of Flies" to kind of get people to stop saying that we were hiding behind theatrics because we couldn't play.
Wow. Wow, good. Now, I remember Is It My Body because I believe it was the first memorization and lip sync in the car rear view mirror with the girl sitting there and the speakers blasting. So I actually would perform that for a date. That was the first one I had all of it together, where I would flash the dome light to give the light show. Incredible what you guys did to us. You really infected us so deeply. How great was that to know kids like me would just couldn't wait for the next thing?
Well, we didn't know. I mean, it was, we had, for every person that loved the group, there was 10 that wanted to beat us up in the parking lot. So it was, there was a humbling element to the Alice Cooper group. It wasn't until we played the Hollywood Bowl when I finally admitted that, hey, we've made it. You can't play at the Hollywood Bowl and not make it. But we would play big concerts and then get these terrible write-ups, or we would have a lot of people yelling out derogatory things during the shows. But we finally won them over. By the time we got to the Billion Dollar Babies album, then we could sit back and say they're listening and they're liking it. So that's still great to this day.
I got to believe it, right? Also, you came into a world where songwriting had just been taken to a new level, right? I mean, we just came off this Beatles, Lennon-McCartney thing, and then Cream, starting to split the atom. That was a hell of a excellent environment to walk into with lyrics and melody, right? Everybody was really turning out amazing stuff.
It was, and it took us, we recorded 2 albums before we really learned how to write songs. So we were very lucky. Our first album, Pretty's for You, barely made the charts, 110 on the charts, I believe. And if it hadn't have made it onto the charts, that probably would have been the end of the band. But then our second album, Easy Action, barely made it. So by the time we walked into the studio with Bob Ezrin and Jack Richardson in Chicago to do Love It to Death, we knew we had finally polished songs for a great album, and we knew it so inside and out we almost knew what the song order was going to be. And but we still weren't feeling confident because we thought Pretty's for You was going to set the world on fire. Zappa told us he had played it for the Beatles and they loved it. So when that didn't happen and then the second one didn't happen, we weren't popping any champagne. But by the time I'm 18 came out, by the time we went in the studio for Killer, we were feeling our oats. So that was a different story.
That was, I think, for me, the first rock anthem. I don't remember an anthem before I'm 18. And just, singing along with it felt so therapeutic as well as fun. Yeah, it's incredible.
Well, it was, and I think that and Schools Out were so easy for this band to write because we all went to high school in the same area. The 3 of us went to the same high school and practically throw a rock and hit Neil's school and Michael's school. And so to write about being 18 was easy for us and Schools Out because we didn't even have to share notes with each other. We already knew exactly what it was like. So you know, what we had read after Easy Action and Pretty's for You, that we wanted to write songs that were relatable to the record buying public. And at that time, we were told the record buying public was an 18-year-old still living at home with money in their pocket because they're not paying rent and everything. So that's what inspired that song.
Nice. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. You know it's going to be a great day on the 28th, and with your career, you've been at so many great things. When you look at this audience, and it's going to be, wow, we've experienced this before, you're giving it to us again one more time. What's that like? That's a special gift, right? I mean, it's not going to be the first time they've heard you. They're going to cling to this performance because they know what you sound like and they love it. What's that like performing for that crowd?
Well, this is going to be a special one. The band is as excited as the crowd is. And I have an exclusive for you. Michael Marconi, the guitar player who played on the $1 Billion Babies Battle Axe album, is going to join us.
Oh!
So that's going to be an extra ace up our sleeve that we're pulling out on your show.
You are the man. So earlier I was talking about the opening note of the song. Come on, man. Everybody would just freeze and go, bam, 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 bam. Then it goes up, bam, bam, bam. And you know, any minute the dam is going to break. Oh, my God. That was a real gift. Most appreciated. Most appreciated.
Yeah, so you know what I'll be thinking as soon as that song starts is, I better be on my toes for this one.
Dennis, we love you in a way that we've never shaken hands, but what you've given us is palpable, fungible. We have it. You've given it. We're very grateful. Congratulations on an amazing career, and I'm so happy that you're here to tell the stories, and you've gotten recognition and success. Same thing for Alice. I love seeing successful people endure with their success. It does inspire others to be great. Thanks again for today. Great time talking with you.
Oh, thanks, Ed. I really enjoyed it.
You bet. Same here, all the way. Dennis Dunaway, the band $1 Billion Babies. These are the members of the Alice Cooper Band. They will be on stage September 28th. You are going to have the best time at this show. This is literally 2 weeks from tomorrow. Do you have plans? I'm going to make sure one more time that you have all of your ticket information. I want to make sure you get the tickets. I want to make sure you are there, and I want you there for the entire 10 hours.
Working class in a place they call the Bronx. Learned on the corner about the school of hard knocks. Found out his rap could be his salvation. Well, now he's talking all across the nation. It's the Ed Tyll Show. It's the Ed Tyll Show. Come on, everybody. It's Ed Tyll.
Yeah, radio shows don't get any more fun than this one. Come on, man. Who's got what we had today? My love and appreciation to Mike and Kelly. Kelly, you're fantastic. Mike, you're amazing. They're an incredible team, and this is an incredible second fore and aft benefit concert festival. 9 bands, 4 charities, people having fun all day, September 28th. The Fore and Aft Benefit Classic Rock Concert and Festival returns to Danbury, Connecticut's Ives Concert Park music venue. Founding members of the Alice Cooper Band, Dennis Dunaway, again, I am so grateful to this guy. Look, I was grateful to him in 1973 when I was at the Nassau Coliseum, man. When I was cheering, I was holding up my lighter. That's the era where we held up the lighter. And when that $1 Billion Babies note starts the song, that's when the adrenaline's going. Now it's pumping. Then they go to the first bang, bang. dun, 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 and you're just going nuts. And it's going to happen again September 28th. Going to be a spectacular day. The all-star band, Billion Dollar Babies, is made up of rock and roll Hall of Famers Michael Bruce, Dennis Dunaway, kind enough to be with us today, and the great Neil Smith. They will be joined by the Good Rats, Bonnie Parker and Tang, Sapphire, Direct Drive, Dan's Garage, Emily Band, Good Time Charlie's Band, and the Stone Cold Band. Everybody today, great on the show. My thanks. The very first fore and aft has been coming up a lot today. People like me and Jimmy, we think, 1960. It was actually 1959. Holy cow, Emily. That was a while ago. 60 years ago, Brewster, White Plains, New Rochelle, and Westport, Connecticut, I heard earlier. That's Martha Stewart territory. My cousin Frank used to live in Westport. I know Westport very well. Paul Newman from Westport. The era, the 1960s, the 1970s, the very early 1980s, fore and aft was the place to be. That's it. The best musicians, the best people always came to the fore and aft. Maybe they came early. Maybe they were gigging that night. Maybe they're coming in later. One way or the other, this is where you find them. After the unbelievable success of last year's event, Mike Policastro was on the show before. A guy puts up a post. Lovely gal sees the post. They start talking, word gets out there, and before you know it, bing, bang, boom, a huge, huge success last year. Unforgettable is what people said. So now everybody's like, well, that's fantastic, but what are we doing next year? And they were like, should we do it again? And people said, yeah. And Charles earlier, the promoter, Charles Rosenay, he said, look, forget about the reunion word. Let's make it benefit. Let's make it festival. Let's make everybody feel welcome. And they did. This year, it's going to be bigger than ever. If you are anywhere in the tri-state area in the near future, next 2 weekends, you need to make plans to go to this. Have you been to Danbury, Connecticut? Well, you're going. Have you had a nice time in Connecticut recently? You are about to have another one. We're sending you back. Now, here's how to get your tickets. Very simple. You can look up the venue. I'll give you the stats on that. It's very easy. You can just go to the venue. But there is a website where you can get the tickets quickly. So, first things first. Danbury, Connecticut, Ives Concert Park Music Venue. That's where you're headed. Here's how you're going to get your tickets. F-O-R-E hyphen the letter N hyphen aft. Fore and aft. Let me get it here for you. There's so many things to read. Yeah, fore and aft. Benefit.ticketleap.com. There you go. All of this will come to you quickly on the Google, so don't worry about writing anything down. You know what you're looking for. Saturday, September 28th, Danbury, Connecticut. Great venue, great event. So I think I've given you enough data on this. It could be at the point of data overload, but that's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind if I said it a couple extra times. I don't mind. He's repeating that. Yeah, it's okay. People are tuning in. People are catching the end of the show. People are coming in and out of the program. So let's help everybody. Saturday, September 28th, the Fore and Aft Benefit Classic Rock Concert and Festival. I like that. I like titles. Returns to Danbury, Connecticut's Ives Concert Park. You are going to have a ball. All right, so my thanks to everybody. I want you guys to have a spectacular weekend this weekend. Next week, next Friday, I got a couple of surprises for who is performing at this great concert. A couple of more surprise interviews next week. So we're not done celebrating the benefit, the reunion, the festival. The Fore and Aft is back, people. Really great. All right. My thanks to Rob. Conversations with Rob. Last night we had some terrific coverage of the Democratic post debate. That went great last night. My thanks to Rob. He got us a Florida Democrat girl. She was terrific. I was like, wow. We're going to have more of those folks on. But great work last night in Houston, and our show going live whenever it's necessary. Something we've always done here, we'll continue to do. All right, great weekend, everybody. Remember Jimmy Heslin at the Act Shop, and all of the great people that have come together for the Fore and Aft benefit Music Festival, Saturday, September the 28th, Danbury, Connecticut. Ives is the venue. This is so good. I'm telling you, man, I have too much fun. They let me do this, you know. I get to do. Well, they brought up this idea a couple of weeks ago. I'm having all these people on. Wow, and I get to support the benefit and plug the hell out of it. Yeah. So there you go. I'm now. I feel like I am familiar with this venue. I've never been to this venue, but talking about it so much, I'm starting to get the hang of it myself. I like this. All right, Ives Concert Park, Danbury, Connecticut, September the 28th. It is the Ed Tyll Show. Great week of shows. Be listening all weekend. We're back live on Monday.
Everybody listen to the Ed Tyll Show. You may not like what he has to say.